Hi everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Amplify, a video podcast about usual, unusual people. In this episode, we're gonna talk a lot about mental health, which is something I like researching and learning about. That's how I got to a community called Andy's Men Club. That's a community, and they are basically pushing men towards opening up and talking about their problems, which is very good for men. And okay, I don't want to hold it back. So without further ado, and this men club.
Hi Andrew, how are you today?
I'm good, mate. How are yourself?
I'm good. It's lunchtime and I have some spare time, so I was very excited about our conversation today because I know about you from Stu from the Noisy Brain, and I said, okay, I would love to reach out and see if and see what is Andy's Men Club and how one can become a member of it, you know. So, where are you from connected right now?
I'm from Halifax in West Yorkshire, in England, and that is ironically enough where Andy's Man Club was born as well. So our head office is currently in Halifax, and I'm speaking to you from the office. So yeah, there's currently hang on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, another 7 people here at the moment. So yeah, we went from a few years ago, just before lockdown, there was 2 members of staff, and we now have 7 members of staff. Such has been the growth and the need for Andy's Man Club to do what we're doing. That it's meant that we've needed more hands on the pump and more people to help us get that message out and to be able to spread the groups and the things that we do into new areas. So yeah, it's been a successful period for us the last few years in that respect.
So what I really wanted to do is to have a short conversation for my project, which is called Amplify. It's really about talented people from different areas.
I said, what are you speaking to me for then?
Yeah. You are having a project which is definitely changing people, changing people's approach, making people love themselves. So that's something that I really wanted to talk about. So what is Andy's Men Club? How did you start?
Andy's Man Club started, as I said previously, back in Halifax just over 5 years ago. It was off the back of a tragic suicide of a young man called Andy Roberts. Andy was a 23-year-old lad who, like many others, enjoyed his weekends with his friends, with a footballer. And then one day, with no sign, signal, or warning, Andy took his own life. As a result, Andy's family were of the opinion that if Andy had had somewhere to go and talk, free from judgment, free from the stigmas that exist around men talking about their thoughts and their feelings, very much the idea that, if he was to be able to have a conversation about the situation that he was in and to have somebody else turn around to him and say, well, do you know what, I've been there. I know that that's a temporary situation. Taking a permanent step to solve that isn't the way forward, then it's likely that it'd still be here. So that's what they set about trying to achieve. Andy's brother-in-law, Luke Ambler, decided that he was going to start a coffee club for men. Let's be honest, we're British. There's no problem that can't be solved by putting the kettle on. And he wanted to create an arena for men to be able to go and talk freely, openly, as I said, without those stigmas, without those fears of judgment, etc., about what was going on inside. Now, the fact that this happened in Halifax, the place like Halifax is full of, staunch northern fellas who chin up, chest out, push the problems and the feelings away from them. And 9 guys turned up. For 9 guys to show up to something like Andy's Man Club in a place like Halifax showed that there was a clear need for it to happen. Wow. We're now in the position where we have, at this moment in time, 63 clubs nationwide. And this last Monday, we had 1,038 men attend those clubs across the country. Again, that shows that clear need for Andy's Man Club to exist and for us to do what we're doing. So we'll continue to do it. We have new clubs opening all of the time. We're reaching out to new areas and reaching out to men that we know need the platform to be able to speak. And, again, we love doing things like this to hopefully get that message out to men, to show them that talking about your issues is the way forward, bottling them up and dealing with them in the way that I think society has taught men to do so for so long isn't the way, and talking is to be embraced. So.
Mm-hmm. And how does it work when people gather together? Is it like you have the chairs? It's a all the time, every week, the same place, the same spot. You've got the chairs. People come, sit down. There is somebody who's curating it, or how does it work?
Yeah, we have a team of volunteers. 95% of those volunteers are guys who have engaged with Andy's Man Club as a group user. So there's somebody that's come through the door needing that support that Andy's Man Club provides. They've then talked, opened up, improved their situation to such a degree that they are then able to open those doors for other people. The sessions happen every Monday night at 7 p.m. except bank holidays. And again, they're always in the same place. The sessions themselves throughout the country run in exactly the same way. Very much the idea that, for example, if you were going to go to a McDonald's, you know that if you walk into a McDonald's in London or in Bradford, you know exactly what you're getting. And it's exactly the same thing that we want to create with Andy's Man Club. And those sessions remain exactly the same every single week. We have 5 questions that we run through. But again, the unique way in which we work is that there is no obligation to speak. So guys can come through the door, grab a brew, which is free, by the way, and talk as much or as little as they feel comfortable to do so. The other unique way in which we work is that there is no referral, no registration, no signing in, no cost. So guys can literally, as I say, turn up. They don't have to go through any sort of signing in process or I've been told to come here by so-and-so. It's literally, right, in you come, mate. Here's the session. Those 5 questions, 3 of which stay the same every single week. They don't change. Guys then know the platform. They know how much opportunity they have to focus on the things that are happening in their life, the things that they want to speak about, the reasons that they've gone along to something like Andy's Man Club in the first place. And then question 4 and 5 change every single week, so they can become an opportunity to focus on a particular positive in life, to set yourself a small achievable target, or sometimes they are there literally just to create a laugh and a joke.
What's the duration of one session?
It normally happens between 7 and 9 on a Monday. Again, some of our clubs have a huge amount of guys walking through the door. I mean, just before the first lockdown back in March 2020, our Leeds club actually had 98 guys walk through the door.
98?
98, yes. We were in the fortunate position that we were able to have many groups across the venue that we had there. So the groups, as a rule, will never sort of go higher than 12 or 15. So even if we do get 98 to 100 fellas that walk in the room, you won't have to talk in a room full of 100 guys. It'll literally just be a case of, let's go off into this room and you'll talk between sort of 10, 12, 15 fellas about what's going on and very much get the platform to be able to speak in that regard. So,
wow. But it's clearly oriented towards men. There is no way that there is a woman can slip through the door.
The sessions themselves are purely men, but the support that we have from women is enormous. There's the old saying that behind every great man, there's a strong woman. And it's exactly the same with Andy's Man Club. We have 2 women that work here in the office. They're the absolute pillars of the organisation. The whole place would fall down were it not be for them. Literally, they keep us on our toes. They make sure that they've checked our diary. They know where we are better than we do. But they order stock. They answer every single email that comes through the door. They really do, they support the guys that help us run the sessions. There's so much that they do. And again, as far as promotion's concerned, the amount of women that we have that either tag their husbands into posts on our social medias or drag their husband literally out of the car, throw him through a door and say, it's yours for the next 2 hours, is amazing. And, we do host a lot of events and awareness raising opportunities. They're open to anybody from any walk of life, as are the sessions, but obviously you've got to be a man over 18 from any walk of life to attend the sessions on a Monday evening. Like I said, the support that we have from men and women and raising awareness of the charity is huge.
So The Guardian wrote about you, right?
They did, yes, a couple of years ago.
Can you tell me how did this happen? It was like a surprise or somebody contacted you?
The Guardian got in touch with us and wanted to do a little bit of a feature on how it is that we work and what we do. And as a result, they came along to the opening, I think, of our Manchester club. And they met us there. Something that else we'll always pride ourselves on is the fact that the sessions themselves remain absolutely confidential. We'll never have any sort of recording or interview or anything like that happening within the sessions. So I think they met us there at about 5:30 on the Monday, did a little bit of an interview with us, saw a little bit of the setup, and then produced the article off the back of that. They interviewed our founder Luke, who obviously I spoke about previously is Andy's brother-in-law.
Since you really kind of developed the whole club very fast, what's next for you for 2022?
Our hope will be By this time next year, I think we'd hope to have a club within half an hour of every man in the country. So initially, we want to have a club within half an hour of everybody in the UK, so that it's accessible to every man. Whether or not that's achievable by this time next year, we can only try. We'll continue to do so. Beyond that, we'd never say never to anything. And developing Andy's Man Club as an international organisation, I think, is something that the world needs. Because those stigmas don't just exist here in the UK. We know that they are very, very prevalent here, and we're working very hard to remove that stigma and allow men the platform to be able to speak as much as possible. But that said, our hope would be that we can, as I say, challenge that stigma across the world. And one day, as it stands at this moment in time, as you can see, we're exceptionally busy here, doing what we do, making sure that we've got those clubs set up for every boy, every fella in the UK.
But when you said to have a club within a half an hour distance, I got goosebumps, because it's such an empowerment, and it's like really it gives you the right to take care of yourself. Are you planning to do something outside UK soon?
We don't know at this moment in time. That's something that we'd look at in the future. As I say, our primary aims initially are to spread across the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows when we'll have that completed by? As I say, hopefully this time next year. That's something that we're close to realising. If not, then obviously we'll continue to do that. And then when the opportunities arise and we're in a position where we have the sort of situation available to us to be able to do that, available for us to be able to do that, we shall do it.
So how did it work during lockdown?
We were really fortunate that we only missed 1 week throughout lockdown. Obviously, the whole situation occurred, I think, sort of the Wednesday, Thursday time. And then Monday, the following week after, we ended up hosting our sessions live on Facebook. And, we still provided a session as such and allowed that to happen. But it was very, very different. The week after that, we'd actually developed an online platform. We used Google Meets. And every single one of our clubs, we went into lockdown with 28 Andy's Man clubs.
Mm-hmm.
And all 28 of those clubs had an online platform that they could meet with familiar faces, with the same guys that they were meeting face to face with. The sessions, again, ran in exactly the same way. The questions and everything like that. And the facilitators did an absolutely phenomenal job in helping us to roll that out. Our volunteers here at Andy's Man Club are our absolute heroes. As I say, that the fact that not only do they deal with what life has to throw at them, they also provide platforms to be able to do so. But with something like that, they just absolutely rolled with it. They got so far behind it that it meant that online platform is now something that remains as well. With you touching on whether or not we'll be able to go international soon, our online platform now, I know, has a guy that jumps on from Florida who used to attend our Hull club. There is a guy in Russia who attends. There's people in Switzerland, France, all over the world that jump onto that online session on a Monday night. And again, that session runs exactly the same way as the rest of the sessions as well. So that is something, again, that will continue because we found that can remove a little bit of the anxiety for some people.
Okay.
Obviously, the doors of an Andy's Man Club is a massive step to have to take. For some people to be able to do that within the comfort of their own home, they find a little bit easier. But also it means that geographical issue where somebody at this moment in time might have an hour and 45-minute drive to their nearest Andy's Man Club, they can still benefit from what it is that we provide at this moment in time. It's also allowed us to open clubs in new areas since the end of, the end of the pandemic. We're still here, aren't we? But you know what I mean? Since lockdown restrictions were removed, we've been able to open an awful lot more clubs in an awful lot more areas as a result of that online platform. So it's been massively helpful for us.
Mm-hmm. So next Monday, if somebody wants to come to the digital meet, what do? We go on the website and there is a link.
No, again, we don't publish those links just for the pure idea that we don't want that to be open to any sort of trolls. Okay. So guys were wanting to attend Andy's Man Club online, they just drop us an email into info@andysmanclub.co.uk, provide us with an email address, which we don't keep on file beyond the Monday, obviously, and we will then send them out a link. We'll send them out the link. That's your club. We try to regionalise it as much as we possibly can, because obviously we have clubs all the way up in Scotland, clubs all the way down in Devon. While we will try to, it's not always possible because, we get some guys jumping in at last minute and some of the groups are full. but we will try and make sure that if you're in the Southwest, ideally you'll be in a club with some people from the Southwest. Because again, the hope may be that one day those guys decide that, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to walk through the doors of a club. They might see a familiar face, then they might see somebody that, oh, you were on the line with me, and it's able to go from there. So
Wow.
just an email.
What's the most remarkable feedback you received about your project?
The feedback that we receive on a regular basis from such a range of people as well, the impact that we have, while obviously we're interested in getting men who are in a situation where they feel they need to talk through the doors, the impact of getting those men through the doors is so wide. So, we get massive messages from wives thanking us for, my husband's back. We get messages from children saying, thank you that I've still got my dad. We get messages from, friends saying, I was stopped outside my son's school one day last week by a guy who said, I just wanted to stop and speak to you. You've massively helped my friend. My friend is a different man since he's been attending Andy's Man Club. It's completely turned his life around. And we never, ever, ever tire of hearing that impact that we're having on people, and to see that actually, do you know what? People are benefiting from what it is that we do.
Oh.
There are still families that are complete. There are still people who, our whole remit was to reach out to one man at a time. If we can reach out to more guys that were feeling the way that Andy felt, we'll have less families feeling the way that Andy's family feels. And to know that is the impact that we're having never fails to blow us away. It's such an amazing feeling to hear that sort of feedback and to see the impact of what Andy's Man Club's doing for not just the guys that walk through the doors, but their kids, their missus, their mum. It's so wide ranging.
That sounds so good, really. I see on you that you are pretty energetic. Do you have a secret? Because, do you have some kind of a routine? You wake up in the morning, you do sport, then you do this, that. What do you do every day?
You can only see me from there up, so you'd probably change your opinion. So should we be doing this podcast face to face? A lot of my energy comes through doing something that is so rewarding. On a day-to-day basis, I get to come into possibly the most positive place that anybody's ever walked through the door of. The guys that work here, we're all guys who've taken the step through the doors as a group user. So we've all benefited from what it is that Andy's Man Club can provide. So, to see that drive and that sort of passion can never fail to be infectious. As far as a morning routine goes, it is something that I pride myself on over the last few years. A few years ago, it would be something that, I'll be honest, it was a little bit of a trap that I fell back into through lockdown as well, in as much as, you got used to rolling out of bed and your office is there, so I'll just have 10 more minutes and all those sort of things. So, easy trap to fall into in that regard. But in the morning, the first thing that I will do at this moment in time, literally, my alarm goes off, I'll get up out of bed, I'll throw some shorts and a t-shirt on, and I'll take my dog for a walk. And I will walk roughly about 1.5 km, just 20-minute leg stretch, more for her than me, but the benefits that has for me are the same for her. That getting out, getting the blood flowing, getting the body pumping, and not just that, but out in what is nature. You feel a little bit of a wind on your face. You feel on those days that it's raining, you feel a little bit of rain, and it helps you to reconnect with nature a little bit. So that would be the first thing that I will do. I will then go home, and once I've fed her, she comes first, obviously. Once I've fed the dog, I will look at sorting myself some breakfast out for me and my son. This morning, that was for me poached eggs on toast, and he went with the easy option of a bowl of cereal. But he's 7, so that's his choice. And then from there, it would be a case of most days I will drop him off at school. Again, I'm in the fortunate position that because the work that I do allows me to do the school run in the morning, I'm one of those fortunate parents that actually gets to be able to drop his son off at school. So I love that. Again, a little bit of our time this morning was spent catching up on penalty shootouts from the football last night. After we'd eaten our breakfast, we watched some highlights of the Leeds United penalty shootout. So, it's a nice morning that I get to be able to spend a little bit of time with my family. So, yeah, my wife normally takes the opportunity to have that little bit of a lie-in while I'm out with the dog. She will obviously then get up and help my son get dressed and what have you, but, I'm sure that happens when I put the key back in the door and come through the door. And then once I've dropped my son at school, I'll normally start getting on the phone to guys that are involved with Andy's Man Club, and that will be to speak to people such as yourself, to promote Andy's Man Club, speaking to some of the guys that are out there banging the drum for us, volunteering for us, doing the amazing work that those guys do. And then I'm into the office, and my feet don't hit the floor until I decide that I'm leaving to go home. And again, evening, it very much depends. Obviously, with a 7-year-old son, last night it was a case of I got home, I walked through the door, and then I walked back out of it, taking him to football training. And then obviously on a Monday night, when we host our clubs, I'm always at a club every single Monday night. So, that can be anywhere around the country. So on occasion, I travel and I stay overnight and things like that. But again, Wednesday, Thursday, it'll normally be a little bit of quiet time with the missus in front of a TV documentary or something like that. And then Friday, Saturday hits, and it's normally a little bit of football, a little bit of rugby. If I get an opportunity to go swim my golf clubs, I'll go and do that. But yeah, weekends very much family time.
That's nice. So do you like switch off from work on weekends completely? Oh, that's very good.
As much as I possibly can. Obviously, within a work environment such as this, obviously we know that mental health doesn't take any time off. And while obviously we do focus on ourselves to ensure that our mental health is in a position where we're strong, occasionally there will be a time where, for example, if I'm travelling away to a club on a Monday night, I might travel on the Sunday. Or there might be an occasion where there's an awareness raising event on the weekend. There might be events happening that some of our guys are running within their areas with their families and various different things like that. On occasion, there will be times where I'll completely turn around and say, this weekend's a work no-go zone, it's me time. But the other side of it is as well that I find that when you have a job that you enjoy as much as we do, it's not so much working. It becomes a passion. It becomes something that you enjoy so much that, you don't really class it as working. So.
You said mental health never rests. So how do you nurture your mental health? Accept nature and trying to, enjoy that life, to spend the time with your family, switch off from work from time to time. Any special tricks that you are using?
Not so much tricks, no, because I think that, tricks and gimmicks and things like that are things that come and go, and, they might help you over a short time, but they can't always maintain the positive feeling that they bring initially. The biggest one, obviously, working for an organisation called Like Andy's Man Club, who obviously our whole tagline is "It's okay to talk." Again, I find talking about, if a problem comes my way, the way that I used to deal with it would be shield it and deflect it away or internalise it and not, worry about it internally. Now I'm very much in the situation where I'll talk about anything, to anybody as well. Ask the guys in the office, they'll tell you. My wife is exactly the same, that I'm in a situation whereby I'll talk about problems at home. That again creates an environment at home where we know that we can have conversations like that. She knows that she can speak to me in the same way. Again, as I said previously, my wife had an issue with work last night. My son was in bed, so that's why we had to catch up on the penalty shootout this morning. But I was sat watching a penalty shootout for my team, talking to her about work at the same time. So, there I am sort of going, yes, I can help you with that. Oh, yes, get in. So, it was quite an amusing situation. But yeah, talking would be the major one. An amount of exercise, as I say, the main one that I do is get out with the dog. But at the weekends, again, we will elongate that and we'll, go on huge walks and take a full Saturday afternoon out to, visit a local beauty spot with the dog. So yeah, like I say, reconnect with nature, but talking and, acknowledging the things when they come my way.
Do you meditate?
Not so much meditate, no. It's something that I have done in the past. If I'm in a situation where I'm ever struggling to sleep, because those days when the whole world's running through your mind as soon as the head hits the pillow, I have a couple of breathing exercises that I run through. But beyond that, I wouldn't say that I especially meditate. No, it's not something that I've relied on. Other than, like I say, on those occasions where I'm maybe struggling to switch off from work or life or family or anything like that. When I'm laying in bed and my head's on the pillow and I'm just like
that. Yeah. So true. Familiar situation. Yeah. Is there anything new that you'd like to learn?
I'm always open to learning, and always open to taking on ideas of others. You know, the idea that, you know, somebody might be able to improve on an idea that I've had, again, through talking, through conversations, through being open, and, you know, talking is really, really important, but equally as important is listening. And I think that's something, again, that Andy's Man Club's taught me, that not only is it okay to talk, it's absolutely vital to listen. And that's, you know, listen to yourself, listen to, you know, the things that your body's saying to you, but also listen to the ideas of others, and you know, yeah, very much, you know, if somebody's got something that they are passionate about, then I'll do my best to listen to that. So yeah, I'm always open to learning new things, and, you know, again, the old saying, every day is a school day. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to learn and take on ideas of others, very much so.
Nice. I will add this. I will add your words also to the advice section, because I was about to ask you, what do you recommend to people? Like, because you work in such a, I wouldn't call it industry, in such an area of mental health. So I would love to have kind of advice from you to other men or women.
Again, it would just be to talk. You know, I think, as I said previously, those stigmas exist predominantly for men, and, you know, I know that for many women those stigmas exist as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it would just be to talk, and you know, don't worry about those stigmas. If somebody's to judge you as a result of something that you're saying, that says more about them than it does about you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you keep talking to the right people at the right time, the right people will listen, and the right sort of assistance will come your direction.
So to everybody who is listening, don't hesitate talking about your issues. Thank you very much. I was wondering, who do you want to amplify? Because I would love to create a chain reaction when you can not only be interviewed yourself, but also give the spotlight to somebody else.
And that's an organisation called Women's Wellbeing Club. They are initially based down in Devon, but again, similar to Andy's Man Club, they're opening centres all over the country, in different sort of areas, and trying to engage as many women to talk about their issues and their problems as well. Yeah, very much inspired by Andy's Man Club, and some guys that we, you know, while the organisations are not linked, we work very closely with them. And should we get any sort of correspondence from somebody saying, I'm a woman, I could do with Andy's Man Club, where can I go? We always sort of signpost Women's Wellbeing Club as a result of that.
Oh, this is awesome. Really, thanks a lot. I'm so curious about that part as well. So where can we find you?
Again, all of our 63 locations are located on our website, which is www.andysmanclub.co.uk. We have quite a strong presence on social media. So again, every single one of our clubs has its own Facebook profile. So if you're from an area, type in Andy's Man Club and your area into that, Facebook, and you may find that you have a club within your area. Alternatively, we have a national profile as well. So just type in Andy's Man Club, and that's the same on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. If you can think of a social media platform, we'll likely be on it. So yeah, we reach out to lots and lots of people. We post an awful lot of content as well on those pages around people who have improved their situation as a result of coming along to Andy's Man Club. And as we were saying previously about, you know, the impact of what it is that we do, we've recently done a campaign that was initially around Suicide Prevention Day, which was September the 10th. But in the week leading up to that, and in the 2 subsequent weeks since, we've been posting a video every single day, a couple of videos every single day of guys who've attended Andy's Man Club, members of their family, and the positive effects it's had on them as well. So go and check that out, because that's been a really good campaign.
Thanks a lot. Well, Andrew, thank you very much for this half an hour. Much appreciated. Loved the whole concept of Andy's Man Club. Going to check it out. Going to not subscribe, but to send you an email to be involved in the digital meetup. It's very cool, and I really recommend it to everybody to go and check out. And see you in Andy's Man Club.
Lovely, thank you. It's okay to talk.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for streaming the episode. I hope it was something useful for you, that you can learn something from this episode. If there are any other questions that interest you, please just chat me up on Instagram, slide in my DMs, and well, check out Andy's Man Club, check out their website, their Instagram, and as usual, after every episode, I try promoting an independent artist. And today it will be someone I met 3 weeks ago at the Belgian Pride. So, okay, today's soundtrack from Biche de Ville.
Fais-moi pleurer encore, fais-moi crier plus fort. J'ai pas encore eu assez mal. Vas-y, fais-moi mal, que je me sente vivante une dernière fois, à la manière d'une première fois. Ma chérie m'en veut pas, ma chérie, je peux pas, ma chérie m'en veut pas. C'est pas toi, c'est moi. Ma chérie m'en veut pas, ma chérie, je peux pas, ma chérie m'en veut pas. C'est pas toi, c'est moi. Je t'ai craché tout mon amour, donne-moi des claques. Je sais que ce sera pas pour toujours et je m'en tape. Aime-moi, 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 que je puisse mourir de quelque chose. Aime-moi, 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 que je succombe à l'overdose. Ma chérie m'en veut pas, ma chérie, je peux pas, ma chérie m'en veut pas. C'est pas toi, c'est moi. Ma chérie m'en veut pas, ma chérie, je peux pas, ma chérie m'en veut pas. C'est pas toi, c'est moi. Je t'ai laissé me mordre plus fort, écarter les jambes encore. Dis-moi des mots sucre, comment je suis belle. Après je te suis, la baise sans l'appel. Ma chérie m'en veut pas, ma chérie, je peux pas, ma chérie m'en veut pas. C'est pas toi, c'est moi. Ma chérie m'en veut pas, ma chérie, je peux pas, ma chérie m'en veut pas. C'est pas toi, c'est moi. Et je pleure comme une conne, puis j'en fais des tonnes. La tempe sur le téléphone, je veux juste qu'il sonne. Je dois te fuir pour que tu me suives. T'obéir, c'est toi qui guide. Je crève la dalle, je tourne en rond. Mon sol est sale, je pète les plombs. Qu'est-ce que tu fous? Je prends du recul, lui il s'en fout. Vit dans sa bulle. Ma chérie m'en veut pas, ma chérie, je peux pas, ma chérie m'en veut pas. C'est pas toi, c'est moi. Ma chérie m'en veut pas, ma chérie, je peux pas, ma chérie m'en veut pas. C'est pas toi, c'est moi. Ce n'est qu'une histoire de fesses.